Hi everyone, thanks for watching again. It's Bungo Bob here, and again we're at Shiplake. As you're probably aware if you watched the last video, we came down and had a little practice leading up to the festival up and coming the end of June. So we're down here again this weekend. We've only been out once a week since Christmas really, and this week we have drawn hawthorns. Last week we were on Westpool, which is the Snake Lake, and this time we're on hawthorns. There's two sections on hawthorns, and I think I'm right in saying there's 3 or 4 sections on Main Lake, which I never ever want to draw in this competition, but I always do draw. So typically wanting to draw on it this time, I was never going to get on it, was I? I wanted to get on there, just have a little practice before this festival, because I have absolutely no idea on the Main Lake really at the moment. But I'm sure we'll have a chat with some people and we'll get a rough idea on what to do when it comes. But this is the float only league, and that's what we're focusing on today. Tony Rickson runs this, very good league, some really good carp catchers in this league, and we're on at least 3 different venues, might well be 4 over the series of 6 matches. I will have to check on my calendar, but I know we're here. We're at Todber Manor, we will be, so we'll try and get over there for practice beforehand, because I've not been over there since August. And we're also at Land's End Fishery, which is somewhere I don't think I've videoed yet, so that's going to be really good. So yeah, Hawthorns peg 10. We've started across, and basically it's nothing like it was the other week on Westpool. Now Westpool was fishing notoriously hard. I was told Hawthorns has been a lot better, a lot fairer, this, that and the other, and it probably is fair, but it has gone hard. There's loads of fish swimming down for the middle. Not many of them are interested in feed whatsoever, so they're very difficult to mug. They're just turning away. I just come from spawning, of course, and some have been spawning, some are still waiting to do it. So same as a lot of places. It's very, very difficult. So we've cut a lot of film out, of course, as usual, but we started on 4 mils, cab potting 4 mils across, fishing with a 6, and we caught nothing. So I then swapped to micros, which is how I caught on Westpool the other week, and I really thought that was going to be sort of open the gates, as it were, you know. And it didn't really happen. I had 1. So then I put a dead maggot in the band, which is something you can do someday. If you want to try between little pellets and maggots and things, you can always put those maggots in the band, save you changing your hook length and have a quick look. And I caught 1 doing that. So again, it just seems to be 1. I then try and then change to ground bait and maggots. And we're just trying that now. I did get a phone call from a friend in the week because he had his knockout cup thing down here on this lake. Funnily enough, I sort of told him what I thought would be best, this, that and the other, and he came down and won it. Fishing a few pegs up to my left, to be honest, than where I am today, but nevertheless, what he did sort of worked, but just really difficult today. We have got 3 empty pegs on this lake, and I've not got one of those empty pegs next to me. Now the peg on my left is actually catching across, but he has got an empty peg to his left, so is that the difference or not? I'm not entirely sure, but when he's putting in bait, I can see the end of his pole from where I'm sat off to my left, and when he's feeding I can actually see there's, you know, physically I can see there's fish coming in, and we're just not getting those sort of signs where we are, nor's anybody on my right. So difficult. I mean, as I've always said in these videos, and I say it again with these commercial things, you know, they are won and lost in that last 90 minutes, 60 minutes, etc. You just got to keep your head down and try and put something in the net, but it's extremely difficult to put something in the net at the moment. So we've had a skimmer across when we switched to ground bait and maggots, and we're on our 3rd carp across now. And we're a good way in the match now already, to be honest.
Okay, now, how long do I wait for that? Hour and 40?
And the first one I hooked was probably the biggest fish I've hooked across all day as well, and the blooming thing. You know those when you get one coming along wallowing, it sort of wallows along the surface, doesn't it? Almost like it's looking at you and just shaking its head left to right, left to right. And he, sure enough, he shook the blooming hook out. But we're not worried about that too much. Those things happen, don't they? So there's our third carp in the net. So at least we're catching something. We've had a skimmer as well. I have cut out some footage, but I have actually flicked a. I'm looking down to my right a little bit there as well because I've already fed me edge. As I said before, if you want to rest from fishing long, you know, and if it's one of those days where they just will rock up next to you, it's always worth putting a little something in. So this fish I've hooked doesn't feel quite right. I got a feeling it might be foul hooked. Something else I want to mention to you all as well is regarding fishing across on snake lakes and such. What I tend to do when I plumb up is I'll plumb up with a plummet as anybody else does, and I'll put a rig up for that. You know, just sort of on the shelf nicely, etc. But then what I'll do is get a second rig, which is what I'm on now, and I'll push it right in tight. I mean in tight, touching the reed sort of thing, you know, nice short line, getting it right in there. And then what I'll do is plumb it up as well as you can, because you'll always find that plummet's going to roll down a little bit because you're trying to find a little tiny ledge. And what I'll do then is I'll take that plummet off, put on like a treble A or a BB, because you only got a little float there, and it'll soon let you know if you're off the bottom, and lift that up and down on that far side, and you'll find little tiny ledges, just little. It can be somewhat of nothing really, like something sticking out an inch. It sounds ridiculous, but you'll put a rig in on that. Then when you go to feed your pot of ground bait or micros or even 4 mils, whatever it is, you feed it, and you'll put that rig, that you'll feed it sort of 4 or 5 inches short, then push that rig I'm talking about right in tight, and you'll be amazed at the amount of more fish you can catch at times, because they're wise fish, and they know that bait is sort of safe, if you like. Try it. Okay, so that's good news, boys and girls, isn't it? We've started catching down the edge, which is brilliant. About 90 minutes ago, we've caught a few. We've had a little run, but I'm quite aware I can't stay on that one line for too long, otherwise I'm going to kill it altogether. So I'm very aware of that. I've actually got a line in the same down to my left, and I'd say it's probably 6 inches deeper to my left, but I didn't mind that being so close to me. I mean, to my right there is a top kit, as you can see, and believe it or not, the edge to me left is more like 2/3 of that top kit. So it's really short, so I didn't mind that extra bit of depth on that. I'd say to the right I've probably got 20 inches of water, and to the left I've probably got 28 inches. So I didn't mind that, as I say, because I just felt if it's a bit more cover, that little bit more depth, if they're going to come in that close to me. So I'm sat here trying to be quite quiet, try not to yap away too much to my neighbours, having a laugh and that, but I'm quite conscious it can run out any time, that line, so I'm just giving it a little rest now. I've just fed it a cab pot of bait and given it a little rest, and we're just trying the meat line, which is a complete non-starter again down here, but I daren't not put it in, because the days it goes, it can be very good. I like to think I can catch fish very well on the meat line, but everywhere I've been lately it's just the same. It's just a non-starter. And the left ear we're looking on, and that's not really happening either. I did get one down there on meat, in that left hand edge. I actually fed it a little bit different because it's that little bit deeper. I fed it with micros and meat, but we had one and that was it. I do think the sun has a part to play in that. It came out quite bright, as you can see every now and then. It's a bit cloudy now for a second, but it does come out quite bright, and when it comes bright I just felt it. The sunshine was on that left hand line. On the right hand line I got a little bit of shade, and that can be all the difference you need, really. But we're catching some fish now, so it's good. We're playing catch up, to be quite honest with you, because Steve on our left probably had 12 to our 3. Well, a 4, I suppose, including the foul hooker. It was 4, wasn't it? But yeah, so we really are playing catch up. And in this league, to do any good, you've really got to be top 2 in section. I mean, I'm sat here thinking, well, I'll take second, but really I'd like to be first. And there's 5 or 6 of us in the section claiming all around the same weight. There's really nothing in it, so every fish counts at the moment. So it's really good fun, really good bunch of guys, very exciting fishing, really nice. And they're pulling, as you can see, they're really pulling these fish at the moment. So let's see where we end up. Head down.